on live in my car on both platforms, and I want to make sure I can be seen. So I'm just setting the title over here on TikTok. Hello, YouTube. Make sure you guys are subscribing as you guys come in. It's going to be a good miniature topic before I go into the gym. Let's see. It's 2020. All right. Okay. So hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, welcome in. Hello. It's so interesting. I did this yesterday and I noticed that I believe it's YouTube. Actually, I believe it's TikTok that flips the whole scenery around, and I was like, whoa, this looks wild. It flips it like one had it correct and one didn't. I was like, whoa, that's just is like so trippy. But I hope you guys are having a beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. We're going to have a really solid topic. So I definitely highly suggest that you stick around for this one. There's a really, really dope ending to this story. So I really hope you guys stick around for this. Also, make sure as you guys are coming in, also comment with anything that you guys may, like in between my spiel, in between my miniature motivational training, I guess you could call it. Ask me a question, comment, I'm happy to answer any of your questions. Again, make sure you are liking the video and subscribing as you guys are coming in, liking it. Especially over on YouTube. We gotta start using this button or this finger more. This tip of the finger, go boop, 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 just go boop. And then like, we're good. That's it. All right. So today, thank you. Woo! So today's topic is, it always makes sense later. Hindsight is always 2020. And it truly is. And I wanted to give you guys a really, really dope story from a close person to me. And sometimes things like we're going on about our day, we're going on about our week, and all of a sudden something majorly changes, right? Whether it's like something crazy at work happens, or something crazy at home happens, or a neighbor does something to the front of your yard, or like just something kind of like it really shakes up your environment or what you have going on, and it can really rattle you, right? Like where you're just like, why is this happening? Everything was just fine. I've been saying my prayers. I've been going to the gym. I've been eating healthy. I've been doing what I got to do. I feel like it's kind of weird over here on, and it's an interesting question. Do I date white men? White men? I've never dated one before, but I'm open to any ethnicity. I just ironically haven't. So I, when we're going throughout our day and we're like, what the hell? Like everything was just going fine. Like, why is my car completely shut down? Or why did I get in this car accident? Or why did why did that person just blow up on me now? Or, whatever it is, it's like something it's like next level bad, right? Like not like life damaging bad, but like, whoa, this is really shaking up my reality. So let me know if you guys know what I'm talking about. If you're feeling me, put a thumbs up. But yes, let me know like an example of what you guys have gone through in regard to this. So this person that's very close to me was talking to me about this, and it was like really flipped their world upside down. Okay. It really flipped their world upside down. And and what I was saying was, you just really never know what needed to move out of the way for other things to come in. Like God, and I do refer to God a lot. You could say chance, you can say the divine, you can say the universe. I'm down for all of it, but there's powers that be that need to move things out of the way for your next level to come. And so at the time we're like, what the hell? Like I had my routine down. Everything's organized, everything's on point. And it's like, sometimes when you have all that stuff set up, it's like, God's like, okay, You know, you said you wanted next level, or you said you wanted to elevate. You said you wanted to grow. Okay, boom, here you go. And you're like, but wait a minute, hold on. Like, I didn't mean right now, or like, you know what I mean? And it's like this shock to the nervous system of like, I thought I was already, having it together, right? So it's one of like the lighting is kind of weird over here on YouTube. I'm on 2 different platforms at the same time. And so that one's kind of, we're just gonna have to work with it. Okay, so oh yeah, that's better. I like some saturation. So all of a sudden we're shaken up. And then like we're just like, whoa, like basically all the stuff that I did, good morning, happy Thursday, all the stuff that I did was like, what was it for? Because I put in all this work, I made the changes, everything was flowing, and then now boom, this major thing happened, right? So I was telling her that like sometimes like you've arrived, like the sign of something shifting that heavily is a sign that you've arrived. You've arrived. Like you've arrived at you're ready for your next level. And we're thinking, okay, well, I thought once I implemented all these changes that I would just be at peace and my life is going to be perfect. But little did you know that when you put all those things in place, all those systems in place, you lost the weight, you got, those relationships together, you did your inner work, you've been meditating, you've been doing all these things, and then all of a sudden something quote unquote bad happens, or like not even bad, just like where it just completely rocks your world. We're like, wait a minute. So that is a sign that something even bigger is coming. And what I wanted to do is give you guys a quick little piece of homework. Okay. So a quick piece of homework to where when you have doubt, okay, when you have doubt and you're like, I just don't understand why this is happening, because like everything was fine. So this person was like almost in tears, okay, almost in tears of like, I really thought everything was great. And I don't want to give too much away because it's their personal story, but basically this major thing happened in their life and it really shook them up. And it was like the thing that moved out of their life, the thing that changed was the very thing that was giving them strength. So they thought, and it was giving them strength, right? Like maybe, so I'll just like give another example. Like say you're at work and you have this amazing manager that you just love. You just love this particular manager. And that person is your go-to. You know that they're going to help elevate the way that you're going to think about something. They're going to train and develop you. They're going to just make you feel empowered, all that stuff. And then all of a sudden they're gone for whatever reason, whether they quit, they get fired, like whatever the reason is, right? So all of a sudden, hello. So all of a sudden we're like, wait a minute, whoa. How are we going to be able to operate? Because like that was our like power source. That was our energy source, right? So let me know if you guys are feeling me, like put a thumbs up, or if you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, let me know too. And so what I told her was that that means he's shifting, he's moving in your life, because sometimes like we think that those training wheels need to stay there forever. And once they're removed, we're going to freak out. But no, they need to be removed so that way you can get to your next level. Whether it's like, okay, so now, you were relying on that person for your strength. Maybe you need to start being a strength for other people. Maybe you need to start being a mentor for other people, right? Maybe, maybe it's time for you to get out of your comfort zone. Like, there's so many times where, and you guys will probably see me fidgeting with my hair. Every time it's air dried, I just like start fidgeting with it. Because curly hair, if you have curly hair, you get what I mean. So the topic is hindsight is always 20/20, and you never know what's to come. Okay. You never know what's to come. And when things feel like they are getting rattled or shifting heavily in your life, okay, you're rattled, things are getting shifted, you start to feel uncomfortable, all of a sudden you're like, okay, I thought I was supposed to, like, I've arrived, like everything's perfect. I have my mentors, I have my best friends, I have my relationship, I have my kids, I have my social circle, like everything's perfect. And all of a sudden something rattles your world. It means that God is shifting and moving in your life. Okay. It means that God is shifting and moving in your life. So fast forward to the end of the story, she ended up getting a promotion. She ended up getting a promotion. And she couldn't have seen that, 2, 3 weeks prior to when this whole major shift was going on, because she's like, wait a minute, like everything's great. I love my job. I love the situation. Make sure again you guys are liking as you guys are coming in, following, sharing. And let me know if you guys are feeling me on this, or let me know if you guys, have been through this in the comments. But it's like, oh, all of a sudden she got the promotion. She's like, this is why all those shifts were happening, right? Like literally God had to move, physically move people out of the way. Even when we're like, wait a minute, like there's no way that this is going to make sense because this person's supposed to be here. This person's just too big of an impact. This person is just too influential in this job, right? Or like whatever maybe you can even apply this to relationships. Like maybe you were dating someone, or maybe you were in a long-term relationship and all of a sudden things get jolted and the person just decides to leave. And at the time we just we don't understand it because everything seemed like it was perfect. Everything seemed like it was fine. Like, have you guys been through that before? Where you're like, that was like, I'm blindsided. Like, not when we can see it. Like there's situations where you can see it coming, but then there's certain situations where you're kind of blindsided. That is actually God working in your life. So, in regard to, yes, you said, oh, I've been through it, and trust, I believe. Yeah. I mean, it's like the reason why I feel comfortable sharing this with you guys and having this on my heart to share with you guys is because I've coached and developed many people over my life. I used to be a district manager. I used to be over 30 full-time people, 400 part-time people. I've been in many leadership positions. I've been ahead of many teams. I'm currently on a board for a really, really dope charity, and have put on big events in LA in regard to that charity. So I've been in a position where I'm like coaching and developing people, whether it's, in their personal development, in their career development, maybe just like some, like, I said personal development, but even narrowing that down into like health, their health, their fitness, things like that. So I've been in these positions, and the theme that I've seen, the consistent theme that I've seen is there's always an answer, right? Like just give it time, relax. It's time to go into reflection mode. It's time to get grounded, and then just kind of be patient and wait for to see what God is working and doing in your life. So sometimes it's just a day later you get it. Sometimes it's a few weeks, sometimes it's a few months, sometimes it's a few years. It depends on, what major changes need to happen, or where God is moving you. But so she ended up getting a promotion. So out of the rattling, oh my gosh, my mentor's leaving, all this stuff. It was like, oh, this is why, all these movements had to happen over here for me to get placed in these positions, for me to grow, expand, elevate, get to the next level. And so, I have some homework for you. If you've ever been through this, or if you're like, okay, this story's fine. Okay, great. But what do I do? What do I do when I'm in the position? Because it's easier said than done. You're in the position. You said, amen. So true. Hello. Nice to meet you. Have a wonderful day. Be safe and blessed. Same to you. I work at a correction in New York. I'm on YouTube and on TikTok. So you'll see my eyes kind of go back and forth. I work at correction in New York. I'm going through tough times now, and I want to think there's bigger plans for me in the future, but it's a struggle. Okay. I have a solution for you. Listen up. I have a solution for you. And you have to trust the process. You have to do it. Very simple. If you're on the phone right now looking at me, that means you have access to putting something down into a material form. Or if you know how to write, okay, if you know how to write, you can write this down. But I definitely suggest using the notes section in your phone for this method. So that way you can either have it pop up as a reminder every day or once a week. or you can just remember to reference it, whatever you want to do. But think back to a time. I'm going to assume that everybody is at least 21 and over on this. I'm assuming most of my followers are like 28 and above, but I'm just going to stretch it all the way to at least 21 and up. So I can guarantee that if you're comfortably on this live with me, that you have at least 2 to 3 instances where something happened, you can recall something that happened in your life and you're like, whoa, I now see why that needed to happen. Okay. Oh, so mid-30s, even better. So recall, sit and meditate for a second. Recall, it could be something that happened in high school, college, happened at a family vacation where something just crazy happened, and then a few years later you're like, because these really work when you have time on your side. A few years later you're like, oh my gosh, that was why that happened. So for example, for me, I was at a job I hated. I decided to quit, and I decided to quit with no other job in mind. I just was like, I need to quit and get my mind together. Like, I don't even want to get something in the meantime, or I just needed to like quit and like let my brain breathe and like get back to what I used to love, my creativity, like who is Ciana, like all that. So when I quit, I was like, okay, it settled in. I was like, okay, was that a good idea? Like, should I have enough time to call them back to see if like they'll take me back? I actually had them reaching out to me and saying, hey, look, like we know that things get hard, but like whenever you want to come back, you can come back. And then what happened over the course of those 5 years was amazing. I never went back to a full-time job. I ended up being able to travel the world. I visited the pyramids. I went to China. I went to the UK. I traveled to different islands. And at the time, I wouldn't have been able to see that, like, I was just going to be able to, God was going to work some things out. And I'll go into detail about my life post quitting that job and like what unfolded during those years. But like, all the things that I said I wanted to do, and I still want to travel. I will be traveling my entire life until God decides to bring me to the other side. So the traveling will never end, but it opened up it gave me the confidence to really start traveling, right? And like not feeling like going to the pyramids was so like above me, right? Like I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is so dope. So, and I was able to do that because I had the time and the space to do that. Like if I had the job, I would have had to look at my sick time and had to look at my, my vacation, and I would have only had, this amount of time. So I would have had to schedule it in that time. And I didn't have to do all that. I was able to freely go because I had designed it to where I had gotten a lot of gig type of jobs to where I worked my own schedule. So I got to work when I wanted to work. Okay. I got to work when I wanted to work. And then if I didn't want to work, I had enough money saved up, and then I, would travel. And then there were some opportunities that I got to travel, expenses paid. So you took your life onto your own hands and started to live. Yes, absolutely. So this is what I want you to specifically do. So every time I have that moment where I'm like, ooh, something's shifting in my life. That was weird. That was out of nowhere. I now have time on my side, and I go back to that exact story for myself. So write down, what I want you to do is right after we get off this live, go to your notes section and write down what is something that you can recall, at least 1 or 2 stories where you're like, it really sucked at the time. It really was scary at the time. Something rattled my world at the time. And then, oh, you got that promotion, or maybe you found the love of your life, or, you like, maybe it's traveling for you. Maybe you met an amazing new friend that became your best friend because that one thing happened, another person got hired, and that person that got hired, and you guys are in each other's weddings now. Like, recall a time where something really sucked. So literally write down, okay, so moment that shook me to my core, write out that moment, and then write out what ended up coming out of that. Okay, write out hindsight is 2020. So what shook me to my core, write that out, and then hindsight is 2020, write that out. And then now you have a couple of stories to reference when you're like, wow, why did that person just like delete themselves from my life? Or like if you're at work, like, and there's a lot of like work examples with this. If you're like, wow, I got a new boss, and like this just sucks. Like me and the boss are not we're just not vibing. Okay, we're not vibing. Everything was going great with my old boss. Okay, everything was going great with my old coworkers, and all of a sudden they got, maybe your coworker that you loved and you would like bounce ideas off of, maybe they got promoted. Like you can apply this to any type of situation, you know, again, in relationships, friendship groups. Maybe you were part of a friendship group and all of a sudden they deleted you from the friendship group, or maybe you removed yourself, or maybe 2 or 3 people just don't like you anymore. And like, you're like, dang, like you know, like what happened? Right? So when you're in the moment, in the present, go back to the stories that you wrote down for yourself and just say, you know what? Okay, these stories remind me that something else bigger is happening. There's a big shift going on. There needed to be space created in my life. So that way something's going to happen, because God's already shown me that it's happened before. So let me know if you guys understand what I'm saying. What's really hard when you lose someone you really love? I lost my wife last year, June I'm so sorry about that. If you're referring to, she transitioned. Oh, we were married for 37 years. You really have. Yeah. And I mean, you know what? And I'm happy you said that, because I can't empathize with that level of like, union. I only pray that I get to experience that in my life with 37 years of marriage. Death will really do that to, like, people passing will really wake you up and rattle you as well. And you typically with those, you got to just give yourself grace. You got to give yourself time to really just take in this new chapter without that energy in your life anymore, the energy of that person in your life. And just be gentle with yourself. That's all I can really say. I lost my grandmother. She was literally, it was like I had 3 parents. She was like a second mother. And then I was her caregiver for 6 years. You guys often hear me refer to her. And she passed away last year. Actually, her anniversary for passing away was a couple of weeks ago, right? 2 days before my birthday. And I was just like, whoa, like, okay. So, and I just did a lot of reflection, like, where have I grown? Where has it sucked without her? You know, and so those things happen. And I think the more we can transmute the energy, like really feel through it, right? Feel through it, do what you got to do, whether it's therapy, reading books about grieving, you know, becoming part of groups that will, you know, uplift you and hold some space for you, hold some strength for you during those tough times. Definitely do not hesitate to reach out to those types of resources for yourself. But yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Life is very short. So I have another perspective on life as well. Like when things seem like they suck, it's like, at the end of the day, like truly at the end of the day, if you woke up this morning, it really doesn't suck. It means that God still has some plans for you. It still means that you have some impact left that you need to make on the planet, right? It is hard. The woman who raised me passed in her sleep, and it was hard. Yeah. I mean, it gives you a whole nother perspective on life. So take what you can from those really, really tough situations, right? Like just do what you can to grow, do what you can to reflect. It's a great time to reflect on life and just see, like, is there some areas where I don't need to be complaining about silly stuff, right? Where I need to be worried about silly stuff, where I need to be overwhelmed about silly stuff. Like it really can bring you back to a grounded state. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Hindsight is always 2020. Take the time, because, and the reason why it's really good to kind of write this down, reference a few times where something sucked and then you came out on the other side of it and you were better for it. Reference those examples, because, and this one's going to sound silly, but this one was a big deal for me at the time. You know how like when you're a teenager, everything's so amplified because you just don't have you're starting to experience things. So everything's really amplified because you just don't have like wisdom behind you yet. So I wanted to be a cheerleader, and I had been a part of a couple of dance teams when I was like a child, but I wanted to be a cheerleader in high school. And everyone by that time, when we were in high school, everyone had been a cheerleader for years. And so I was like new to the school district, hadn't been dancing for like a couple years prior to that. So I tried out for the dance team, didn't make it. Okay. And I was like really bummed about it. I was like, oh man, like I feel like I'm a really good dancer. Like, what the hell? Like, you know. And so instead, what I did was I just transmuted that energy. I just was like, I'm going to make the dance team next year. Like I didn't like harbor on it for too long. I just like kicked it into gear. So I made it. I ended up beating out some girls that had been cheering for years because I just decided like, what do I need to do? I need to like, I just practice every single day in the living room. This is before we had like the internet, so I couldn't even like look up like drills to like help me. I just had to like study what they were doing and then like analyze it and like keep it in my brain and then go home and practice it. There was no like little handbooks or like anything like that because I'm 37. So this is before YouTube. I don't think YouTube was around 20 years ago. And if it was, it wasn't on this level where you can just like Google anything and like you get to like have like if I want to learn how to play the drums today, I could just go on YouTube right now, right? So I didn't give up. And then I ended up like going on to like become a professional dancer like in my college life and had a blast doing that. And so like imagine like so it sucked not making it, right? It sucked not making it the first time when I went out for the dance team. But what it did was it propelled me forward, right? So then now when I look back, I'm like, oh, I like God was like, okay, you know what? Like we really want to see if you want this. And so when I trained by myself for a year, I made it. I ended up making it, and then I ended up beating out other people, and then I ended up getting on better dance teams that were like regional type of dance teams, where we like won first place in championships and stuff like that. And so I like, and it may seem silly to someone else, like, oh, okay, cool, you made the cheerleading team, but it was so huge to me then. So I'm like, okay, what's my version of that now where I feel like it's huge right now, but like I can reference some of those stories and I have hundreds of them, and I'm not going to bore you guys with all of them. So do it for yourself. It could be something small like that. It could be something more deep. It could be something in the middle. It could be something like, honestly, death, like things like that can really, really rattle you. And then, if someone passed away 10 years ago and then now you're on the other side of that, and now you can, really reflect and say, okay, you know what? This made me look at life differently. This made me go after my dreams. This made me go after my dream job. After that person passed away, it actually propelled me because I just was like, I want to honor that person's life by going after my dreams, right? So you can now like reference those things. So write them out, make sure you write them out. And then every time you're having a bad day, something shifted, you got hit with a surprise, you got hit with some shocking news out of nowhere, go back to those stories and be like, okay, this just means God's moving in my life. Let me just relax. Let me breathe for a hot second and just, this sucks. I'm going to feel like this sucks, but I'm confident in knowing that something's going to come out of this. I just got kicked out of Norfolk State after completing a PhD in physics program because of my past. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's a tough one to sit with. And what you want to do is really like transmute that energy of like feeling what you're going through and feeling all the different emotions that like are coming with that, and transmute that into something else. So it sucks that you got kicked out, right? But then, so now does it free up time? Right? Can you transmute the time? So now you got kicked out. Now you can reflect on, okay, you know what? The past came to bite me in the butt. That's okay. That's actually happened to me before in a different sense. And it's so crazy to me. Now that I look back, I'm like, whoa, that I just wasn't supposed to have that job. I'll just tell you this really quick, and then I'm going to go in the gym. Remembering the memories always sets you to rise with the sun. Oh, I love that, Albert. I love that. That's a beautiful quote. So just really quick, I hope you're still on with this, what I'm about to say. That's actually happened to me before. I went out for this job when I was like 20, I think I was like 23. I went out for this job, and really, really dope job. I was like, oh, this is cool. It was in another city. And I was like, I want to do this job. I went to this interview. It was like a 3-part interview. They were like, we're so impressed with you. Like, we are just so impressed with you, right? Um, and basically what ended up happening is someone from my past ended up like knowing them, and like there was like a jealousy thing, and like basically shut the whole interview down on me. Okay. So I was like, okay, that was weird. Like that all these people loved me, and then ironically, like someone from the office like knew someone that knew me from like college, and like just did not like me for whatever reason, and like shut it down. And what's crazy is that I ended up staying with the job that I had at the time, and then getting promoted to Los Angeles. I'm originally from Los Angeles, was raised in Sacramento, and I moved back down. So I ended up just staying with the job. I was like, dang, I really want to get out of this job, but I guess God just still wants me here. Okay. God just still wants me here. It is easy to make 1,000 in a day in LA. That's why I always say, like, if you're gonna, yeah, that's a whole nother. I could stay on here forever talking about that, but that's what I basically did after quitting my corporate job. I like was able to figure it out in LA. Metropolitan cities, I will say it is easier to do things like that, like get giggy type of jobs, or like get like freelance type of jobs, or do something where it's like a little bit more creative, like creative ways of making money, because there's just so many different industries in a metropolitan area. But I ended up not getting that job, and I was like, dang, that was like higher paying. It was dope. It was going to be on my own time. I thought it was just everything. But I ended up getting promoted to Los Angeles, California when I was 25 years old. I ended up becoming a district manager. I ended up quitting that job 7 years later. But I needed, like, it was like, that was a huge accomplishment at that age. And I was living back in my, where I was born. And a lot of my family lives here. And LA is just dope. And I was just like, God wanted me to be out, because it was in Fresno. I went to Fresno State for college, and it was in Fresno. And I was like, I wasn't supposed to stay in Fresno. God had other plans for me to move to a different city. But at the time it sucked, right? At the time it sucked. I was like, dang, like, what? Like, I really wanted that job. And they were like, I'm sorry, we're gonna go ahead and like, decline you. And I was like, this is the first time I've never not got, like, this is just an odd experience. Like, everyone loves me. They're like, we love you. We want you to meet this person, that person. And then they just like did a complete 360, and I ended up finding out later that someone just said something completely untrue about me. And I was like, that was really weird, but everything worked out. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you. Because now I'm in a city where I love, and it's dope. So yeah, you just never know. Make sure to put those things down in a note section, reference those things, call it hindsight 2020 moments in my life. And whenever you're struggling, you can go back to those moments, read those, and it will calm your nervous system down. It'll calm the anxiety that you have down from like, okay, what's going to happen? What does this really mean? Is my life over? My life's going to suck. Like, all those waves of emotions that most people have, reference those notes. Okay. So anything you guys, it says, is there anything else you would wish you didn't give up on that you wish you continued to pursue? I will do a whole nother video about that. But that is a really good question, because I just now need to pop into the gym. Yes, I will write this in the notes and give it. Yes. Awesome. 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 Let me know how it works out for you. Aloha from Hawaii. Wow. Hawaii. I don't think I've ever had anyone on from Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii before. That is on my bucket list. Let's see. Any other questions before I get off? Good morning from DC, from San Diego. Awesome. That's so dope. Okay, so I don't see any other questions over here. I am most passionate about um this, what I'm doing right now. Training and developing people. Um Helping people have a light bulb turn on. That's like the only way I can ever really explain, like when I'm like go on these lives. I just love seeing people figure it out based on a conversation that like we had. And like it's always like, the thing is like all of these things, like they're people's next level, and this is for myself too. Like help people um when I help people, there's like something that awakens inside of me every single time too. So maybe, there's like there's just like a dual um advantage here. But that, I would say, like, I'm getting closer to being able to articulate what my passion is, and it's this. It's and that's why I actually do a lot of these live trainings. If you want to check them out, click the link tree in my bio. Also over here on YouTube, click the description box. I have some of my lives are real live virtual trainings, and I do not have them anywhere else other than in a bundle. So if you want to really have some other transformative moments in your life, if you want to if you need help making a really hard decision and you're like, I just don't know where to start, get my course. And it's live trainings that I've had with real individuals, and I put them into a bundle, and you can click the link in my bio and get those. There's actually 20% off for the first 100 people that get it. After the first 100 people get it, the 20% off will go away. So the code is JOY2023 to get 20% off. So some of these lives, I'll repost. Most of them, my live trainings, I put them into a package for you to really take your time. It's at your own pace. Look, there's over like 15 hours worth of content in there of these type of trainings where it's like really sitting down and doing some reflective work and writing it out as I'm going through and making some actual real life decisive moves in your life. So if you want to check that out, definitely click the link in my bio. I also bundled my How to Lose Belly Fat ebook guide in that for free. If you want to also get the How to Lose Fat guide separately, you can get that too separately. So click the link in my bio. Definitely tap in. There's a lot of gems. So yes. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. Thank you guys so much for tapping in with me. I'll be honest, I'll probably never really be a fitness trainer per se. Like, I love health and fitness, and I will always be promoting that. And I may come up with like some bundles on that. But as far as like sitting next to someone and going, okay, come on, 1, 2, 3, come on, one more. I don't see myself doing that. It's going to be health and fitness and mindfulness in a unique way. And it's really like going to be diving deep as to why we're not doing some of the things that we know we need to be doing. Right? So it's more like I want to like get below the surface. And there's so many other programs out there that people have with like build a booty and build your body, get a flat stomach. But even with me, my How to Lose Belly Fat, you get the ease and the flow while you get the transformation, right? Like, it's not just like calories in versus calories out. Here's your workouts and like get skinny. It's like how, like, okay, obviously we know eating healthy and working out is like what we need to do, but for some reason we just don't stick to it. I'm not talking to the people that do. Awesome. Let me know. Drop it in here what you guys do to stay fit and healthy. But for those that are struggling, the ebook guide that I have has stuff in there to help you not struggle. It has stuff in there to actually help you lose weight with less stress. Because sometimes trying to lose weight and eat healthy it brings more stress in our life. And then we're like, it almost starts affecting our social life. It can affect your family life, your relationship life, where you're just like, well, I'm just trying to lose weight so bad. I don't even want to go on a date tonight. And it's like, well, no, you need to go on the date so you can, have keep your beautiful relationship going with your partner, right? But you're like, I don't even want to go out to eat because I'm on this diet and I can't eat anything, and it just like gets weird. In my ebook, it creates ease and flow. It creates systems and structures to help you lose weight comfortably, right? I know I'm like hunched down right now and it's like I kind of look like my body looks interesting at these angles. But look at my page, I put in the work. And I'm happy to share what I've done. And the reason why I put it into an ebook is because I was casually telling other friends and family about it, and then they were implementing it, and then they were implementing it and getting results. So I'll actually post some of those text messages that I've gotten over the years, and I think I've actually already posted a few of those. And so I was like, okay, awesome. I'm gonna give it, put this as an ebook. So if you want to gift it to somebody, click the link in my description, click the link in the bio. I also put it on sale during my birthday month. I am an Aquarian, so I put it on sale. So get it before it goes back up to full price. But also too, that's in the Transform Build Better Habits course that I put together built with live trainings like this. I put it in there for free. Okay. So I may offer coaching in the next couple months. We'll see how that goes. But for now, I'm just doing things like this and putting it into bundles for people to implement the framework of what I'm laying out for you guys. Okay. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and hop off. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys spending a chunk of your morning with me, or wherever you are in the world. It's the morning for me. It's 9:36 in Los Angeles, California. But definitely make sure you guys are liking if you're watching this on the replay, or right now, liking the video, liking over here. Make sure you guys are following and subscribing. Click the links in the description, click the links in the bio, and follow me. Oh, I'm on Instagram. That is just like so like 90s, like cheesy. But tap in with me over on Instagram. Okay. I'm really active over there as well. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye. So bye to TikTok and bye to YouTube.